It's not until tomorrow. I don't know what the cheers are for today, but there's other cheers.
Vikings. It's always about us, y'all.
So,
Welcome.
Vikings, let's get the score. Win. Score, Vikings, let's go. You're welcome. I don't know all the words, y'all. Oh, yes. And the Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Hello, friends. That was a bombastic beginning. Hello, friends.
We are hot energy today.
I had coffee, not from the traditional colonizer, just a smaller town colonizer. But whatever. It's cool.
All is well. All is well. Everything is working out for our highest good. And out of this situation, only good must come and we are safe. All is well. All is well. Everything is working out for our highest good. And out of this situation, only good must come. Even our crazy coffees with honey and lavender, y'all. All is well. All is well. Everything is working out for our highest good. And out of this situation, only good must come. And we are so safe. We're also in Love and Action Daily Boost. We're here 7 days a week. Tara Priolo Studio, Poppy Water 33 with the content. I'm Andre in the Flow, online coach and mentor. I help bold dreamers every day follow their bliss by using their time, talents, and treasures for making good trouble on the planet. And we have so many ways that we do this weekly, but one of them is the Daily Boost. I'm always joined by this beautiful woman, this alien superstar. Who are you?
Today I'm an army of one. If y'all know the reference, you know the reference. By the chicks. Get it together. Get with it. Those are some good white people. Okay. They are good trouble. Good trouble. I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you. I want to change it. Push you into action. I'm obsessed with the action. Like, I want to talk to you, but I also want you to go take action. You don't have to tell me I'm doing a good job. You don't have to tell yourself you're doing a good job. Go take the action. We need the action. I saw Glow Graphics post that this morning. It was like, it's time to move past the I'm so sorry for you and into actually doing something, which it has been for a very long time, friends. But
yeah, how do we move out of the analytical into the action? Yeah. And here's what I found. Every time I take action, I feel better about my entire existence. Every time I put my love in action, it's like a weight off my chest. It's like a giant sigh. It's like oh my goodness, why didn't I find myself to be loved and lovable sooner?
Agreed.
Why did I wait this long to love on me?
Yeah. And it releases the nerves. Y'all, I feel so this morning I called for Charles McNair. Been doing it for a couple days, but every once in a while I still get a little nervous in my belly when I go to call somebody because I don't really like talking to people. I like talking to people, but I don't like calling people. I don't, we don't, that's not a thing. So, I get that little nervousness in my belly and then I'm like, there's the answering machine. Hello, this is Tara Priolo. I'm from Minnesota, but I'm calling you about Charles McNair, who lives in your state.
Can we talk about that though for a second? This isn't the Deconstruction Junction format, but I feel it too. That kind of the slight raising of the blood pressure on the way to the beat.
Yeah.
What is that all about? We know what it's about in our psychosympathetic nervous system. We know chemically what we got going on. But what else is tied into that for you? Because I called this morning too, and I'm feeling the same kinds of energy, and also a kind of I hope I'm doing the right thing kind of.
I hope I'm going to say the right thing, or I hope that I don't know. I think it's a nervousness for me. It's rooted in and I've talked about this on Deconstruction Junction, and I'm sure in Daily Boost because I've done more Daily Boost than I have Deconstruction Junction. But for me, it's I don't want to say something stupid and have that thing that I said incorrectly wind up affecting someone else's life, because I'm literally calling for someone else who is in a more oppressed situation than me. And so that I think feels very heavy, and it makes me very nervous, even though y'all, you can just go read the email, the email that's pre what do you call it? Pre form. It's a form. It's got, you can just send an email.
Pre-drafted, pre-composed.
Prefabricated.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I know that for me, I think that it's rooted in that I know that my words have impact and my actions have impact. And so like everything that I do, and especially being, you know, in the social justice space and being a white facing biracial and those kind of things, like there's a lot of scrutiny on every little thing we do. Like just as a social justice worker, y'all that are social justice light workers, you know that like every little thing you do is scrutinized. And it's not exclusive to particular groups of people. It's just scrutinized, right? Because you're lifting voice for something that, like in this instance, right, a person in jail. And I know Dr. Flo had gotten a comment on YouTube that was like, you're supporting a criminal. And it's like, well, actually, our criminal justice system doesn't just punish criminals. That's the truth of it, right?
It punishes anybody that it can to keep them mopping the floors for 40 cents a day. The thing we've been talking about Daily 11 Action Network, and I will yield to your continuance, is that he's being paid 40 cents a day to maintain the buildings when that's someone's above minimum wage actual job, including health insurance.
Right.
They're actually like robbing from us all by kidnapping this man.
Right. Yeah, I think I just, to wrap it up, I just think the nerves come with the idea that I know that I'm impacting someone's, like literally the trajectory of someone's life, with how well I articulate myself. And then also like, I know I'm going to get scrutinized. I know I'm going to get scrutinized because I'm a social justice worker. I know I'm going to get scrutinized because I'm talking about things that people don't want to talk about. I talk about the issue that people don't want to talk about, right? And I know that I'm going to get scrutinized by both white people and black people, because it's like, are you really, you know, like, that doesn't seem quite white enough, T. And then black people are like, is there any
It is the scrutiny. It is the scrutiny and the fear of the scrutiny that actually keeps us stuck in place. I would even say that a tenet of white supremacist Delulu is the presumption of the scrutiny. Because how many times, Tara, honestly, have you and I been pursuing an idea or a dream that we had, and we thought we were going to come under heavy scrutiny, and then there was none.
Right. Or we got a job out of it, you know, or we got a gig out of it or something like that. Like, I think that a lot of times, right, Dr. Float says this all the time, but fear is false evidence appearing real. And so a tactic of white supremacy is to keep us all afraid of each other. And that is one thing that I think is very evident, is like, yeah, it keeps us fearful of who's going to say something to us about it. Now, in this instance, I've gotten nothing but positive stuff except for one like spelling thing. But like, you know, like yeah. But the fact is that we have to go through the fear. We have to leave the message so that we can alleviate the fear on the other side. So yeah, my tummy was upset. I called, I left a message, and then I looked at my phone and I had a message from one of the moderators of one of my broadcast channels that was like, thank you so much for always lifting voice. And Dr. Flo had commented and said, I just got off the phone for Charles. And, you know, so like there was support on the back end, but you have to like do the action and move through the fear in order to get that support that you're looking for on the other side.
And to that point, if you have not yet gone to lovedandlovable.bio.link today, our link in bio, and also you can find that through Tara's properties or my web properties, then go read up the story. Read about the story for yourself, read up the story, read about the story, and consider just pushing a single link to call and leave a message on behalf of this stranger. Consider also pushing another button and sending the prefabricated email from a concerned citizen for Charles McNair. It's just a small thing that you could do that's going to take about 2 minutes out of your day to help liberate someone who's growing in advocacy, but certainly deserves more. Let's talk about today's national days. Happy National Hot Tea Day to those of you who celebrate that. Happy Happy National Curry Chicken Day. Y'all know Dr. Flo is a hippie, so I had some inhalations of the spirit before I walked up in here. So, National Curry Chicken Day, y'all. Happy National Pharmacist Day. Happy Baptism of the Lord. Happy Kiss a Ginger Day. Any of these stick out to you? Happy birthday to Issa Rae.
Happy birthday. I kind of like the redhead Kiss a Ginger Day. I don't have any redheads. Well, I guess my child had red hair when they were born, and some people still say it's red. Some days I see it, some days I don't. So I get to kiss my child, who is redhead, for now. So that one sticks out. We also have, y'all, apparently it's a big week as well. Also Herbert, shout out to Herbert, shout out to our Lord in 2024.
Always thinking about the Lord.
The Lord.
Like when I poop, the Lord. When I sip this water, the Lord.
The Lord.
Live streams, the
Last
Lord.
night watching the Chargers, because Herbert is the quarterback of the Chargers. They done lost, child. The Texans beat them up yesterday, but like
that was also the Lord.
It was the Lord. It was the Lord.
The fires in LA, the Lord. The homelessness and the lack of food in my community. Also, you guessed it,
the Lord.
The Lord. So remember it always on January 12th. Yeah, it is. I'm going to baptism of the Lord.
Did you read the Feast of Fabulous Wild Men Day?
Could you read it for me in your most dramatic voice?
Okay, I don't know what it says about it. It says, we've all got that amazingly wild guy in our company who deserves a treat on January 12th. The Feast of Fabulous Wild Men Day. From mythological wild men to European forest men to the hottest males we know, we celebrate the wildest of them all with all kinds of feasts. There's a whole history here. This is wild to me. Okay, speaking of wild men, it's also, y'all, in case you have a home office, it's Home Office Safety and Security Week. I know a lot of the podcasts I listen to promote safety and security. You know, what is that thing called? It's a house thing. It's a home safety thing. You can get it. It's also National Mocktail Week. I encourage you all to try out some things. I saw on TikTok yesterday, I saw someone buy 7-Up that was like Shirley Temple style 7-Up. And I was like, I may need to find that.
I kind of stay away from the Shirley Temple kind of stuff because of stories I've heard about her in Hollywood.
Yeah, but it's cherry.
I mean, I don't have a thing against cherries. Let's be very clear. Let's go back to what I'm talking about. I'm saying that I don't order Shirley Temple things or talk about her at length because of the harm and the weirdness that she endured in Hollywood. Maraschino cherries and I don't have any beef at all.
Let's call it a maraschino cherry cocktail then.
Yes, I would love one. Thank you so much.
Yeah. National Pizza Week. Sounds good. I had pizza last week though. And then
I've never met a pizza. Well, Chicago pizza and Poppy Water likes that soupy pizza. But Chicago pizza and I don't like all of the sauce.
Have you had the cornbread one though? Like cornbread crust with all the stuff?
No, I'm a New York thin, floppy slice kind of girl. If the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles didn't eat it that way, I'm certainly not having it that way.
I'm a crispy crust girl. I like thin crust though. I'm a crispy crust.
Do you like that sheet from Domino's, like the little thin crust? Did you have them cut it in triangles or in squares? I
let them do whatever they feel like.
I like having my thin crust cut into squares.
I see. I find that harder to eat.
Why?
Because
you're eating it with your hands, not with a fork like me.
Probably that. Yeah.
You eat pizza with your hands or with a fork?
With the edge of the crust. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, y'all.
You're gonna be fine in New York. You're gonna be fine in New York. That's the way. Y'all, we are reaching for new adventures this year in 2025. It's my inspiration that I brought today. Tara's up next. Today, I open myself up to new adventures. I go out and do something I've been holding back from. I move through the fear rather than let it control me. I trust my intuition and follow my desires. I move through the fear rather than let it control me. Ooh.
That's what we just talked about. I move through the fear. You got to move.
What percentage? I think I'm probably at like 20, 80, 20 fear. What percentage are you in what percentage of fears in there like moving on you? I think I got like 20% fear moving on me. The rest of the 80% of me is confident about where I'm going. But the 20% for me is enough to like
Yeah. It can get you. I think it's slowly going down for me. But I would say like at the end of last year, definitely like 40% fear, man. Like 40, like, and working its way downward. I'm actively working towards. But that being said, like I've talked about this before, but like I feel like a lot of people don't realize how fearful I am. Dr. Flo knows, but a lot of people that aren't like close to me just believe that I'm like some like that's what people call me brave all the time. I'm like, I'm not brave. I'm literally scared. I just do the thing anyway. So like I'm a person that like fear move like I always move through my fear. I'm afraid of an audition. I go to the audition anyway. I'm afraid of the performance. I do the performance anyway. I'm afraid to call somebody on the phone. I call somebody on the phone anyway. I'm afraid to bring my child to the doctor. I go to the doctor anyway. You know, like I let fear motivate me instead of stop me. And so I think that's part of why I'm like, oftentimes my fear level is quite high in comparison, which I think a lot of people don't realize about me because I probably mask it pretty well, apparently.
Me too. I've been 90% fear and done some pretty incredible things in my life. So it's not a judgment. It's just kind of an assessment of like where we are in the day and kind of knowing that we have it. One of the recommendations from this new R&B girly woman that I am paying attention to because the algorithm's making me, her name is Doechii. And she says that she tries to move on her dreams before the self-doubt sets in. You don't want to be impulsive and kind of all over the place in your life and chaotic, but that kind of speaks to what you're talking to. Like, don't let it get so overthought or overcooked inside that you don't pull into the parking lot and say, hey, yo, I'm here to sing.
Right.
What you got?
Right. Agreed. Excuse me.
What I said, what you got, what you had was a sneeze.
A sneeze. I trusted myself to sneeze on camera. Okay. I have a We the Urban post for you all. I actually saw Dr. Flo share this to his threads yesterday, so that's why it popped up in my head. And I don't even think we introduced it because we came in hot and active. But this week, the theme is Foundations of Trust. And I feel like We the Urban does a really nice job of balancing like trust in yourself and trust in other people and like just that kind of thing. So anyway, the first slide is a repeating slide and it says, choose yourself and don't look back. Choose yourself and don't look back. Choose yourself and don't look back. You can't heal if you keep pretending it doesn't hurt. You can't heal if you keep pretending it doesn't hurt. And this is like something that I'm just kind of riffing a little bit here, but this is something that we talk about in Love in Action a lot is like actually identifying your emotions so that you can move through them. Oftentimes we have to participate in something that maybe doesn't like we don't know if it's going to fully align in order to make the decision that it aligns, right? And that's not saying like go jump off a cliff, y'all. That's just like in a safe environment, can you try something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable? If you can't heal if you keep pretending it doesn't hurt. If you don't let that in, if you spiritually bypass, which was last year was a big thing that we were dealing with in our network. Sending love to those who don't feel that big New Year's inspiration rush. Not everyone needs a fresh start to feel whole. Sometimes taking it slow, embracing where you are, and allowing yourself to just be is more than enough. Is more than enough. The relationships in your life should uplift you, not
Wait. Oh,
disturb.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. Because these programs are for the world. Sorry for the whiplash. From hundreds of miles away. These programs are for the people of love, but they're also for me as a person of love. Could you read the last one more time?
Yeah.
Because that was a bing for me.
Yeah. Sending love to those who don't feel that big. Oh, sorry, let me try it again. Who don't feel that big. If you don't feel that big, trust you can be that big to someone. Okay. Sending love to those who don't feel that big New Year's inspiration rush. Not everyone needs a fresh start to feel whole. Sometimes taking it slow, embracing where you are, and allowing yourself to just be is more than enough. More than enough. The relationships in your life should uplift you, not disturb, distract, or drain you. This is about trust. Since they're going to create their own narrative about you regardless, you might as well just do you and live your truth. The stories they tell themselves about you are not your business or responsibility. I got to read it one more time because this is big. This was a big one for me and going into 2025. And I'm gonna try to keep the energy. Since they're gonna create their own narrative about you regardless, you might as well just do you and tell and live your truth. The stories they tell themselves about you are not your business or responsibility. They're not your business or responsibility. They gonna say what they say, you know, and that's not.
They're going to say what they say, but what I love about Love and Action Network and our radio station that's coming back online tonight and our television network that's always on, what I love about us is that they're going to say what they're going to say, and that's okay because y'all see us right now in front of you. And if you wanted to speak up from the peanut gallery and ask me a question about what they say, you could do it right now on YouTube and Facebook. Right now. And so I'm completely open to what is that guru white lady? Mel Robbins right now has a book. Shout out to Mel. She's a book called Let Them. Essentially, whatever they want to think about you, let them. Whatever they want to say about you, let them.
Let them.
Let them. Because it can be so freeing because at the end of the day, we're all trying to be happy, healthy, and free in our own arena, in our own sonder, as Poppy would say, in our own world. We're trying to be happy, healthy, and free. I've yet to meet a person that doesn't want those three things for themselves. So I'm gonna drink my water and mind my business, and get myself rooted in this week. As Tara said earlier,
2 more that are going to help us root.
Oh, apologies.
It's okay. Whatever you accomplish today is enough. And the last slide of this is you are enough. Root it into you. Continue.
Yes. I apologize.
It's okay.
There was a card. There was a card on the desk that I pulled that I wanted to brush past, but since you pulled us back into the I am enough energy, it was right there on top. I'm enough. I'm beautiful just as I am. I'm loved just as I am. I'm worthy just by being me. I don't need to fit in. I just need to be myself, and the right people will come into my life. Those who see and appreciate me for all that I am. Y'all, in 2025, let's not diminish ourselves in any way, because the people who really fuck with us and love us, they ain't going nowhere. They haven't left us for the last 10 years or 20 years. They see how quirky and strange and odd and weird we are, and they still continue to come back. So why not allow for us to accept ourselves first? This month in Love and Action Network is a foundation month. We're doing our own thing this year. Actually not just last year, for the past 3 years or so, we've been reading from a 12-step devotional text. And this year, I made the decision that we should take over and just speak from the heart in the framework of what we've already built here, because we are enough. And so this month of January in Love and Action Network, we're just going to be building our foundation together so that we can have a really, really awesome year. And within our foundation month, this week's theme is all about building bridges, not burning bridges, folks, but building bridges. And one thing I love about Tara Priolo and the heart of Tara is that Tara can find a bridge to the money. For you people that love money out there, that lady right over there is a great resource for finding the money, for finding the resources, for finding the people who have the time, talent, and treasure for the things that we care about. And I'm bringing this up because over the last few weeks, we've been talking in our network about the fact that every dream that you have and every connection to the dreams that you have or have had, they all started with you telling someone hello. You had to build a bridge to, hello, my name is Flo. Hello, my name is Tara. Every happy moment you've had in your life, every lover you've taken, every husband you've taken, if you're on a second one like me, and Tara's on her first, and hopefully only. I wouldn't wish divorce or separation of love on anyone unless absolutely necessary. But all of these great things that have happened to us have happened because we chose to build a bridge. And that's always going to start with a hello, my name is. And maybe later in this year, Tara and I will engage. What was the name of the program? The introduction program out of the TPM suite.
Oh, nail your intro.
Yeah. We need to do a couple rounds of nail your intro, because unless you are prepared to introduce yourself to someone new, a new lover, a new boss, a new friend, a new producer, a new band member, like I'm currently recruiting, unless you're prepared to say, hello, my name is, and tell them about what lights you up, it's going to be very, very difficult to build a bridge. But we're going to use the tools of Love and Action Network, the 7-Day Pillar Challenge by House of Mommy Water, and maybe even some TPM knowledge to build on our root chakra today, which is all about the foundations of our trust. And for those of you who are new to our programs, we use these chakras in order to just point our focus towards these meridian points in the body that are part of our energetic highway. We all have it. Root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. They could be for you just places in your body to focus on, body parts. It could be related to color. There's a lot of ways to use this ancient technology that predates the iPhone. But if it kept people sane and grounded thousands of years ago, it could surely mayhaps work for me today. But the root chakra, and Tara and I are together most Sundays unless we have a conflict or I forget to do my job and load in our content for the week. We're here every Sunday connecting with the community and the 500 of y'all watching our vlog and listening to the podcast. Thank you so much. We're here every Sunday to talk about the root chakra and where we can find our center of stability and trust. Stability and trust in ourselves, stability and trust in the people around us, and stability and trust in the world. And like RuPaul always says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? If you can't trust yourself, how are you going to trust someone else? Rebuilding and strengthening relationships starts with creating a foundation of trust. And I'm going to pivot to Tara about this because Tara and I found trust in each other very quickly. Then in our personal relationship, lost complete trust in each other to the point of going to therapy separately about each other. I always ask people, like, have you gone to therapy about your friends? Do you want to love them more that much? Do you want to try to find stability and trust that much? or you just talking shit about your friends. We used to joke about it in a very pejorative way, but I'm grateful to have gone to therapy about Tara so that I know that I truly want her in my life and I truly love her. Even though she could tell you our therapist told us to leave each other alone. But we're grown here.
Forever and ever, you'll be in her. Mine said, if he ever comes back, just don't talk to him. Just don't talk to him. Sometimes, listen, we stand therapy, and sometimes therapists are wrong. I think
my therapist didn't want me caught up in the distraction that is Tara. And the truth is that the way in which we're shining marbles to each other has not changed at all. But the way in which we relate to each other in loving space and trust is what was needed for the distraction of relationship. Because those of you who are real about your friendships and your kinships and your family dynamics will know that there's a certain stress that can come when you're not in full trust.
Right.
And so she was saying the same thing about you that she was saying about Poppy. If you don't want to learn more about Tara and get to know her, or if you don't want to learn more about Poppy and get to know him and give these people what they want also in being loved, then leave them alone.
Right. Mine was just like, he's a narcissist, so just leave him alone. And I was like, okay, but also you only heard the bad parts. So, we base everything. One of the first things that Dr. Flo ever taught me or introduced me to was Adrienne Maree Brown. And Adrienne Maree Brown says move at the speed of trust. And I am a person that is actually quite slow to trust people. Many of you know that I will keep you at 6 to 10 feet for a very long time. Like, y'all know that there are not, in my inner circle, there's like 3 or 4. It's not a significant number of people. I don't let people get close to me because I don't trust easily. I am like Dr. Flo. I'm a people watcher. I'm an observer. I prefer to observe than actually like get hurt in the process. And because I've been hurt in the past, like we all have, it's hard for me to trust. But I know that, be careful, please. And Moose, be nice. The dog and the baby are on the floor together, y'all. And that's a level of trust. Okay. Trusting a dog. Good thing I've lived with him for 8 years.
Moose is so precious.
Right. And Moose is like the most docile dog you'll ever meet. You can stick your whole arm in his mouth and he will not bite you. But anyway, and he just meandered away because he was like, I'm not doing the baby thing right now. That's cool. But our relationship, I think it was figuring out that it was okay to not be certain things to each other and okay to be certain things to each other, and learning to trust that, and learning to trust that it wasn't like, I think in both of our lives when we first met, it was like very common to throw people away. And it was like we were actively building community both with each other and outside of each other, but those communities were tenuous upon certain things. Right. And it took us, I think, trust in later iterations of just like, it doesn't have to like actually have all these stipulations. It can just be simple. And we can just trust that, like, even, and this was something that wasn't present in the first year, right? It was like, if we tick each other off, because people tick each other off, that's what we do. Crazy people make us crazy, and we're all crazy. Right. We're going to come back and I'm going to give him a laughy face at his have a great day when I know he's being sassy to me. I'm going to give him a laughy face and I'm going to come back 2 hours later and say amen at church. That literally happened last weekend, y'all. It happened last weekend. Right. So like that's a level of trust that, that like you're going to tick each other off and you can make it through. Right. You can just like, take a break for a couple hours or talk about it for a couple hours. And I know you've built that trust with Poppy as well. Obviously, I mean, y'all know I've been with this lovely man for, it'll be 11 years officially on May 8th. That's not married, y'all. That's just like together. We've been married. It'll be 9 years in July, which is crazy because that's almost a decade married. So, and we've walked through, you know, the deepest things, but I think that the trust in relationships is built, and this I'll be talking about it all week on my boost, is the trust in yourself, because I really didn't trust myself. And Dr. Flo has marched with me and encouraged me and like tried to figure out how I can trust myself instead of like trying to put my trust and accountability in other people. And it wasn't that I didn't want to be accountable. It was just that like I have a very particular place that I occupy in the world that I'm very aware of. And a lot of times that pulls me off of the trust I have in myself, because there's a perception that I should trust other people more, or I should be amplifying other people more. But the more that I trust in myself, the more I can trust in the relationships, those close inner circle relationships, and by extension, the larger circle of relationships that I have. And so I just want to bring us, as we're rooting in this, as we're rooting in trust. And I believe that trust is one of the like you got to have it. Like when we talk about brand pillars, y'all, honesty and trust, that's like my central pillar. Like if you ain't going to be honest with me, please see your way out the door. Please see your way out the door. Right. So yeah, I really believe that over the last almost 4 years now, it'll be, I think it's 4 years in March, that we have each individually began to trust ourselves more. Like Dr. Flo doesn't have to run. He at one time, y'all, he thought he needed to run everything by me and get my approval on it. That was like a thing. He never needed my approval, and he has learned that. Right? He never needed my approval. The only approval he needed was the one inside his noggin. That's it. And because now he trusts himself, and there's occasionally things, but like he'll move forward without ever talking to me. And I come back and I'm like, so what are we doing? So who's Charles?
But can I talk about what that's about?
Yeah.
Some of us, because we don't trust ourselves, we ask other people who are close confidants to us for the advice, so that we can then blame them later when our lives don't work out for us. That was a classic before Dr. Flo. That was like an Andre one-on-one. Let me ask this lady in Minnesota for her expertise and advice, so that when we go out on that limb and it doesn't work out that week, I can secretly or out loud resent you for having an opinion about my life. Once again, no ownership and trust.
Right.
And I also want to say, y'all, that Tara and I are not perfect people. We are imperfectly beautiful and whole. And without even knowing it, we were working a whole step-by-step process that's on the website of how to reconcile. So if you are out there and you're trying to rebuild and strengthen a relationship with a person where it's been broken or fragmented, because there's a 10-month hole in our happy story. When we were wife and work husband separated, and which is important as well for all types of relationships. But without even knowing it, we later found that we worked through a system of ways in which to rebuild with people. And that's great for creating a foundation of trust.
I agree. And I hope that those of you that are out there that are maybe watching this, that have left or have been, or perceived that you've been removed from communities with us, collectively or individually, I hope that you'll investigate that, because a lot of it begins with how you treat yourself. So much of it begins with how you treat yourself and how you trust yourself in order to go through that reconciliation process. And if you look back at our text messages at the beginning, like Flo took a chance. He went into a room. I wasn't even there. I up and left, and I got a text message from somebody else saying this dude is here. And I was like, eh. And I went back in the room anyway. And then I got this text message that was like, you were right. And I was like, hope you're well. I was straight up like, I'm not.
Right? Y'all, I'm not really a narcissist. I'm a humanitarian at the end of the day, but the narcissist part of me that the therapist is talking about is now in me saying, I'm so glad I was announced. I got announced.
You what? I like. Do you know? It was like, do you know who's in the room right now? And I was like, who? And then I went to the vet, and then I came out, and the room was still going, so I came back in. But it was, like, yeah. I would just encourage you all to, and this is something that I held throughout the 10 months, and I would tell people like. And I tell people this about the company that I left. Some of you all know that I very publicly left a board in the Twin Cities. There is always an olive branch with me. The thing that you have to do is you have to take your side of the olive branch. And that takes, again, treating yourself a different way, to grab onto that other end of the olive branch and come have a conversation with me. But there's never not an olive branch, ever.
And you got to be open to the fact that your relationships can evolve. Tara and I don't have the same stressful, pressure-induced, agitating each other and ourselves, bothering ourselves in each other dynamic. Like, it makes sense that as her romantic relationship with Ross has evolved and developed, so has her work husband relationship and friendship. And so if y'all think that your relationships are going to be the same with these people for the rest of your lives, like, that's not, she is growing as a mother and as a human, as a human woman mother. I will restack that deck. It is important that we allow ourselves to grow and then also grow with each other. And allowing people to grow and evolve is also another way to strengthen the relationship.
Right. Agreed.
Holding space now for love. We pull ourselves daily into a mindfulness practice this year. In a world where people are trying to be mindless and ignore and neglect themselves and the other, we pull into our roots. And I want you to, for a moment, and every Sunday that you can, remember your roots. Remember your great-great-granddaddy. Remember your granddaddy. Remember your grandma. Think on your grandma. Think on the path that you took to get right here. I want to encourage you, wherever you are, to just come and find a comfortable seat inside of you. Take a moment to build a bridge back to you. And after you take a moment to build a bridge back to you, imagine roots growing from your body into the earth, connecting you with stability and safety. Do your roots run deep? How deep are your roots? I think that if you were to think about all of the things that you've gone through and survived up until now, you will find that you have extremely deep and powerful roots. Take a moment to reflect and recall a time in your life when trust was essential. Think about a meaningful connection that you have, like the one that I just discussed between myself and Tara. And then think about a time when trust was absolutely essential to make the relationship and the connection work. Now take a moment to recall every meaningful connection that's ever happened to you. Did those connections bridge you to your joy? Did they increase your happiness, your healthiness, and your freedom? If so, Call those people in. And then hopefully you'll call those people. One way that we can rebuild trust, y'all, in our relationships is by having what Tara pointed to earlier: honest, open, willing, and available conversation. That's our rule here. If you're honest, open, willing, and available, we can work with it. And the conversation always begins with hello. You can also start by showing reliability through small actions. When Tara got back on deck and found a whole different company,
Whole different name, child. Whole different
name, whole different sign. Like, I's married now. I's married now. And my partner and manager wanted a fresh coat of paint, and I could not deny because it was a great idea. And Tara said to me, "I'll see." And she stepped back and just watched our relationship for painful months. And there were times where my energy would be like, "It's me, Tara. Like, it's me. Like, are we gonna? And she's like, I'm just going to take my time and to see if you've actually changed and if your situation's any better. So important that you allow people to show you that they are more reliable through small actions. That's not a problem. If you've been harmed or wronged in some way, and Tara was both, there's nothing wrong with I'm not saying test people, or push them into the ocean 3 times like those tribes did, and people do, but just allow them to do small things to just build that trust back up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think and y'all, we started this by talking about action, taking action, and for me, like, talk is cheap, right? Like, I believe in the power of conversation. I believe that starts, that's an action that you can take, but it's not enough action. And so, Dr. Flo, I wasn't testing Dr. Flo, but the reason that I was like, let me take my 40,000 foot seat 936 miles away, and chill, and just like watch and see the way this man is treating other people in his life. That was a really important step, and to see Dr. Flo making these small actions that were just different enough from what it all was. And there was certainly, like, there were remnants. Like, Dr. Flo is a very different person in 2025 than he was when I met him 4 years ago. Like, thankfully, right? And hopefully I am too. Because like it really, I believe that people, I say this a lot, but drunk mouths speak sober hearts. Like, things that people say and things that people do, often their actions tell on themselves, right? Like, they can be talking out the left side of their mouth and they can do something completely opposite of it. And that, to me, right, I trust action. That's what I trust. Like, if you come into my DMs and you say, I'm going to call for Charles, and then you don't ever send me a screenshot, or you don't ever, like, I CC'd Dr. Flo on my email this morning, just as like a, here, I'm actually doing it, not to prove anything to him, but just because it's like, okay, I do that sometimes in my nonprofit.
That's solidarity, baby. That's solidarity, baby.
It's just like small steps of things and action that you can do. And I think that builds more trust than even just like, yes, Dr. Flo and I have absolutely had honest, open, and willing conversations. We've had that the entire time. Sometimes it's hurtful. Sometimes it was like, when I finally was like, okay, I'm like, I'll be in it. Like, give me the key, give me my keys back. It was like, okay, what part of that video was true? What didn't you like? What was the oops and ouch? And how can we fix it? And how can I act differently towards you and not prove to you, but make this relationship better? Like, if we really value this, then let's take action to make it better. And that's where we're at. So, and I think you can do that with any relationship, but
I
it
love
does.
it. I love it here because people act like you and I separately and collectively are not humble. But a true act of humility is saying, like, I wronged you, you wronged me, whatever, and like we're gonna now build something new, brighter, bigger, and better. Like
Yeah.
that's true courage and true humility. Like I didn't get it right, and I'm not afraid to say that I didn't get it right.
Right. And in a lot of ways, I didn't get it right, and like, and it's okay and I think, using my 10-year relationship with my husband, right? Like I said, it's going to be 11 years in May. Like, I think some people out there believe, like, when you're new in a relationship, you're like, well, they must just never fight. They just must da 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 da. They have the perfect relationship. Da 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 da. It's not true, y'all. We fight, we bicker, we come back to it. It's all just the choice of taking the action to come back to it. Sometimes we spend time in separate rooms because being a parent is hard. It's hard, right? And we did that before we even had the baby. Infertility is hard. Marriage is hard. It's all just a choice to take these small actions to be like, hey, are you ready to talk about it? No? Okay, cool. Hey, I need to like get some exercise out because I'm really angry at you. So I'm gonna go take a walk. Like it's that kind of like coming to terms with the fact that you can hurt each other. And I think this is like something that's being talked about on TikTok right now too, but like we have to stop thinking that the end result of every fight is throwing somebody away. And it actually, like, when I left, uh it took a lot for me to get to that point in the relationship with Dr. Flo. Like it took months. Like there was a very clear like beginning of the end, I would say like May or June, and it took me until November to actually put, well, no, December 12th, I put the gone sign in the yard, right? And a literal gone sign on Telegram, y'all. It was like, here's my gone sign in the yard. And so
It was
it
pure
took me a
theater,
while.
and if you know me, she got points for the theater.
Yes, yes. And then I burned the Telegram down, which that's something that I will never do again. I promised Dr. Flo that even if
Even more Oscar award winning. Who's gonna play you in the movie?
I listen, I'm hoping for an actual multi-passionate biracial. Anyway, yeah, I really think that it's the choice, like the choice that you're not going to throw people away. Again, like I believe in the olive branch. I believe in somebody grabbing that other end. Like I always have one out. Whether you, like, if you have harmed me, there's always somewhere to come back from. You know what I mean? And I don't mean, y'all, because I think some people hear this and they're like, well, I should go back to my abuser. No, that's not what I'm saying. I think that if you are in an abusive situation, you should get out. You need community, but you need to get out. Right. I do not want you going back into an abusive situation. And there were certain things that, like, I have dealt with Dr. Flo. I've dealt with past exes. I've dealt with my husband, that it's like, that is really not okay. And if that specific behavior is not changed, I'm gone. Like, and I'm gone for good. Right. But there is a certain amount of harm that you can tolerate, that you can come back from. Right. And I think we need to stop thinking that it ends with throwing people out of our communities or throwing people out of our lives, when they're not doing something that is abuse, that is actual like physical harm. Do not put yourself in those situations. Do not hear that out of this. But when it's a situation like Dr. Flo and I had, or some situations that I've had with my husband, like, the choice is, do you want to work on it? And if you can work on it, you can come back from harm, right? So don't throw people away that readily.
Can I build a bridge here? Can I build a bridge here? Am I willing to build a bridge here? Last thought. Am I willing to identify one small action that I can take to rebuild trust in that relationship? And some of y'all are listening out there to the podcast and the vlog and soon to come the radio again. And you're asking yourself, like, or you're having this conversation with yourself, like, I really want to be back in relationship with these people. I really want to engage the loved and lovable vibe that I had with them. I don't know I don't know what to do. Well, just find one small thing that you can do. I went back to the clubhouse room where I thought she would be, or someone would know where she would be. And that was my one small action that day, to rebuild the trust. We all have the ability to do that 1% better thing, to rebuild our relationships with ourselves. It may not be external. You could be trying to heal yourself, and you can heal yourself. Tara?
Right. Yeah. I think too, also, if you're like confused and you have some contact with that person, or even if you're beginning again, it's the question of like, what can I do? Like, what can I do today in this moment to make you feel safer with me, to make you feel like I'm coming in? And like, and you can put up that boundary right away. That's what I did with Dr. Flo. Like, literally, Dr. Flo was like, I don't know, like, we kind of did like pleasantries, and I was like, I hope everybody's well where you are. And Dr. Flo was like launched into, I don't even stories. And I was kind of like, it can't be like it was before. I'm gonna be over here. And that was a boundary, right? But like, Dr. Flo through that was showing me what I needed to do to come to the table. And I needed a moment to be like, is this what I want? Is this the bridge that I want? Is this the bridge that I'm willing to work on? Because there was such deep hurt in that, and in the way that we had left it. But you can always ask. I think that's one thing that like we don't do enough. We assume a lot about people, and we assume what they need, instead of just being like, what do you need to feel safe with me? Right? Like, I'm coming back into your life. I want to be in your life, and I want to be present in your life, but I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you anymore. I want to hurt you. So what do you need in this moment? And a lot of people are going to say, I don't know. And that's okay. Then you just wait until they do. Right. So yeah, it's okay to not know and just ask.
Can't y'all see why I love her and why I love her here? She's a force. Ugh. Go to our website, y'all, to learn more about Tara Priolo. She's going to be down here under where it says LIA Team. Click that to learn more about her fabulousness and the rest of us, Poppy Water 33 and Andre and the Flow. You could also now click on our events calendar. Y'all, it's back. You can see our daily calendars, playoffs, Packers versus Eagles. I mean,
Go Packers! You'll never hear that out of my mouth ever again. Ever again. But we're going to beat the Eagles. I'm so sorry to some people in your community. The Packers.
We shall see at 4:30, and then at 8 p.m. playoffs, Commanders versus Buccaneers. I don't think I've ever seen either of those teams. The Commanders I have seen, but the Buccaneers I've never seen
No,
play.
you've seen the Bucks. You've seen the Bucks because we were talking about Baker Mayfield.
Who did I see the Bucks play though?
I don't remember. It wasn't the Vikings, but we watched it. We watched
it. Okay.
Yeah.
I may sing a little bit later. That could vanish, but hang around to all of the VIPs and the fans, because I will be sharing online as I do every day. So just check our calendar. And the Discord server is always going to have the latest, you guys. Tomorrow, 8 p.m., playoffs, Vikings at Rams Skull. Some of y'all know that game was moved from the LA location because of the fires. Peace, blessings, love, and safety to everyone in LA. We are praying and hoping for your happiness, healthiness, and freedom. And then most importantly, Skull Vikings.
Yes. And Dr. Flo will be opening that watch party tomorrow evening because I teach beyond the starting point of that game. So Dr. Flo will be opening that. If you're interested in the watch parties, if you like want to hang out with us, all of these watch parties, all of the open co-workings, Dr. Flo is sometimes simultaneously over on Twitch and other places, but they are usually taking place in BR1. So in breakout room 1 on the Discord server, if you want reminders and if you want flares, the Discord server is the communication channel to be there. We do occasionally send flares to the broadcast channels on Instagram, but Discord is where it's at if you want to be like really in close with us.
Yeah, I mean, Discord and Twitch is how you're going to say I love you these days, if at all, you guys. I think that our community is a wonderful community. I believe in it now more than I ever have because of the things that we talked about here in our Rooted in the Foundations of Trust Day. And I just cannot wait to see what we uniquely grow together in 2025. And if we're growing together, then we're also going to be growing individually. And that's how you stay in that vibration of loved and lovable. Closing thoughts, Madam Priolo.
I just invite you all to have some joy in your life. Whenever I do my spill the beans, because I haven't done it yet. I was supposed to do it yesterday. I was supposed to do it Friday, but I haven't done it yet. But I think I'm going to talk really about holding joy in these times, because it can feel near impossible. But I just really invite you to trust yourself to laugh every single day. We're good for that. We laugh every single day, every single at something or at we laugh. We laugh, we laugh, we
This is
laugh.
some habba babba to laugh at.
Habba
Habba
babba.
babba.
Habba babba. We
Habba babba.
so yeah, I see laughter. I just really hope that you all find the laughter today. I know that's hard. I know that those of you that are in LA or close to LA, that feels really heavy. And I know that those of us that are still calling for ceasefire, that are still looking on at the Palestinian struggle and the genocide being executed by the Israeli government, we feel some type of way, and that can get really heavy. So I invite you to have some laughter today. And with that, continue to be anti-racist, be safe, wear a mask, make good trouble, do good work. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable, and ain't nobody can change that, including yourself. Joy is the revolution. Step into it and belong to it. And we will see you